Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I'm your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with Ryan the Muscle Morrison. What's going on? Did you see how I cut out the other two?
I did. Finally, you remember they're not actually here.
Yeah, so just kind of cut it out.
They've been replaced. I mean, let's just be honest.
I just didn't want to get a call from them later and be like, bro, you cut us out. Like, come on.
They'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Good.
So, but boys, I need that nickname. You're in for a treat.
We got a thumbs up.
Podcast.
Listen, I believe in these guys. I know these guys pretty well. They're going to figure it out.
And I know the one that they want to say, but I don't think they're going to allow us to say it, right? Yeah, we're getting them hands down from HR over there. Hey, today we have a Hayward Spotlight, Obie Rodriguez from Majestics Pool Construction out of Southern California. Obie's path is unlike anybody that we've had on. He spent 30 years as a police officer and about 15 of them on SWAT, and got into the pools after 2 miserable experiences building his own backyard and decided he could do it better. He apprenticed for free, earned his contractor's license, and at 45, retired early and went all in. Today, Majestic does over 200 projects across 2 locations, and Obie has real wisdom on building systems from scratch, reaching buyers, being priced out of the market, and why Hayward never left him hanging when it counted. But before we do that, I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, a podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started, we want to thank our amazing visionary partners, the SPPA, Blu-ray Excel, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Heritage Pool Supply, Hayward Pool Products, Encore Brands, Poolside Tech, Pool Brain, Knee Deck, and Encore Filtration. To my co-host over there that's going strong, I thought by now you would be tired, you'd be a little out of it, but bro, you're hanging in there pretty good.
Hey man, I've been hearing that my whole life. Now that I've heard the intro song, the intro theme music, I think 5 times now. How did you guys pick it? What was that decision like?
You know, it's funny because when we started, we wanted the person that does all of our recordings, Katie, was absolutely phenomenal. And she met with us and she said, I want it to be a little bit fun, but I want you to deliver the message of what you guys want to be.
I like it a lot.
And
it's growing on
so
me.
she came up with all the names with, Champion of Marco Polo and stuff like that. And then we were just like, really, we want to educate pool pros. And we said, the net and jet kind of guy. And she's like, okay, I got that. And so we kind of did that. And then she went out on her own and kind of put it all together. We've tried to change it before, and nothing has come close. So we're just like,
you're married to it now.
That's that's what it is, and it's truly the message of us, right? Like we want to help pool pros be successful.
I love it.
So fantastic.
How you doing, Obie?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Doing good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. It was awesome to be able to kind of connect and get your story, especially from Southern California. I spent 25 years in Southern California out there. So how you doing?
Doing great. Phenomenal. Having a great time out in Dallas, hanging out. Wonderful people taking great care of us, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And a little bit of an accident while you
Yesterday was a tough morning yesterday. I had a little bit of a tough morning yesterday. Yeah. So I have 2 of my grandkids out here with me.
Which is awesome. 2
8-year-olds. Okay. And we haven't hung out with 8-year-olds for this long for quite a while. So they told me they wanted to go fishing. And of course I didn't have anything to go fishing with. So I went to Walmart and I got a really nice Walmart setup. And
nice.
went back yesterday morning. We were trying to get ready. I was trying to get their rig set up. And then I cut my finger with a knife. So I had to put that on hold, went to the urgent care. I've got 4 stitches right here to prove it. But eventually we got to fishing. They caught some fish and had a good time.
That's the best part of the story. You made it happen anyway. No fishing gear, bloody finger. So you caught some fish.
Yeah. So funny story. So I'm sitting here bleeding and I'm holding on to it. And I walk back to my wife and said, I cut myself. And she's like, looks at me like, great. And then one of our grandsons, Ollie, he says, "Are we still going fishing?"
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, in a
Yes,
minute.
we are.
In a minute, in a bit. But it worked out. We got it done. So
That is awesome. Now, did they fly out with you guys or?
no, we're in my RV.
Okay.
Yeah, staying on the camper down by the river.
So I just talked to you a couple of days ago. So did you leave right after we talked?
Shortly thereafter, yeah. So we were actually already going on a trip. My wife and I, that's how we travel now. So we'll spend about 5 or 6 months out of the year on the road. It's a really nice RV.
Nice.
It's a really nice RV. And so we were already going traveling. Our son's here in Dallas. We were going to come see him anyway. So the schedule worked out perfect. We left a little earlier, came down. As soon as I'm done here today, we're going to go see him, spend a few days with him, and then we're going to head all the way to the East Coast. I'm going to MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia, and then I'm going to go see the Dodgers, play the Yankees in New York, and then Michigan and Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, you name it, all the way around. So.
Are the grandkids going with you the whole time?
No, I'm flying them back home tomorrow. So actually, my wife, she's a trooper. She's the best. So she's going to jump on a plane with them tomorrow, take them back home, hand them over to their parents, turn around, get right back on a plane to come back. And I'll be here.
Wow.
And then we'll take off in a few days. So
Really?
Now,
Yeah.
where does your son live out here?
he's in Bedford. I think,
Bedford?
does that sound right? Bedford?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anybody that knows the area? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So he moved out here about 6 months ago.
And what is he doing out here?
He works for different companies in the trading card industry.
Okay.
So he does like sports casting for Bandai and like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that. He's an influencer.
Nice.
Yeah, ultimately. And yeah, does great. So he just came out here about 6 months ago and working for a few different companies, travels a lot, goes all over the country and all over the world. And yeah, doing that.
And he's loving Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. What is there not to like about Texas,
agree.
people? You guys should all move to Texas.
That's what I hear.
So,
We're Californians though, but everybody claims everything's better than California.
Texans are used to that. Yeah.
listen, when I first moved here and I went to our town was nothing but farmland, and all you would get was the bumper stickers that would say "Don't California my
I know.
Texas"
Here
all
it
over
comes.
town.
Here it comes.
It was bad. And again, I came from California, and so I'm moving into this tiny town, and that's all I see. I'm like, people are like, "Where are you from?" Texas.
Well, I told you we travel a lot, right? And a lot. And California gets beat to death everywhere that we go. And I'll share one funny story with you. We'll see what you think about this. But we were traveling a couple years ago, and the guys heard this story earlier today. It's a good one. But we were at an airport getting ready to fly somewhere and just start chit-chatting with a lady sitting next to me. And I was already maybe a little tired, a little grumpy. I don't know, hard to say. And she asked where we're from. I said, California. And she goes, "Oh my God, California and the gas prices and the politics." And my wife looked at me and I went, "Yeah." And she's like, "No." And I said, "Yeah." And so I turned over and said, "You know what? You're right. It reminds me of a story. Do you know what the governor told me when he came to my house for dinner?" And she leans in real close and she says, "No, what?" And I said, "Nothing. The governor's never been to my house for dinner."
That's a great response.
I said, "These are politics. I can't help politics, lady," right? But we get that a lot. But actually, California's a beautiful place, beautiful people.
Yep.
No place is perfect, and we're blessed to be there, and we love it.
Yeah. Great weather. You know, I was out
Yeah.
there for 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. So great economy too. You could talk all the trash that you want, right? But, you know, look at the economy of that state alone. It's huge.
Without a
So,
doubt.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the pool industry?
Wow. Well, that's a story in and of itself. So I think you mentioned I was a policeman for almost 30 years, and that was from the time I was 19 and a half years old. So what I did. I didn't go to college right away out of high school or anything like that. I was not delinquent, but pretty close, and working construction, just kind of job to job. And one day I opened up the newspaper, and it was a full-page ad, and it said, "Become a deputy sheriff out in LA County." And it said requirements. I'll never forget this because I was feet up on the desk reading the paper instead of working. And it said requirements, 19 and a half years old, U.S. citizen, valid California driver's license. And I went, yeah, I got all that. So I applied, showed up to a cattle call thing, started walking room to room, taking tests. And next thing you know, 3 months later, I was in a police academy, just like that. No training, no college, no nothing. And then did that for the next 30 years and just basically grew up in that industry.
You're leaving out a good part, right? Is that just police? You were actually in the SWAT team.
Yeah, later
So
on. Yeah.
Was that after the 30 years or?
No. It was during. It was during. Yeah, it was during. So I went to police academy, became a police officer, started working. And then you have to work your way up to these specialized units and specialized assignments. And I worked several different types over the years, gang unit, criminal apprehension units, trying to find, wanted people, things like that. And then eventually to the SWAT team, where I spent probably almost 15 years and probably the best part of my career, without a doubt. Best job in the whole place, for sure.
Come on, you got any good stories for us?
Yeah, I mean, we got stories. I said it's 15 years worth. You name it. You want bloody stories? You want bullet stories? You want funny stories?
What are we
I tell you, we'll
allowed to
start
have?
with funny. How about we start with funny?
Funny?
Yeah, she's looking at me. She says funny.
She said none.
Yeah, so first and foremost, best job in the whole place. And I like to tell this story to people because I think it's surprising. A lot of people don't realize it. Law enforcement can be very rigid, very structured, and for a good reason, obviously. But on the SWAT team, we'd show up every morning. We would, work out. We'd have breakfast. We'd get dressed. We'd walk into a room. Somebody will put the plan together for us where we're going to go blow something to smithereens. We'd drive down there in armored vehicles, blow everything up using high explosives, put people in handcuffs, go home, drink beer, do it all over again. And that was our life for the most part.
What a life.
What a life, right? It was tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you're about 30 years old, and pretty good. But yeah, we did all kinds of really, really neat, interesting things. We handled barricaded suspects. It's more rare, but we handled hostage situations as well when they came up here and there. Of course, high risk warrants, things like that. I'll tell you one funny story. It's one of my favorites because, we try to be cool, right? We want to be cool. And, you see the posters and you see the videos and, so everybody thinks, but sometimes we're just pretty goofy people. And I'm not the biggest guy in the world. I don't know if you could tell on camera. Maybe I look bigger. I'm not really sure. But anytime someone we thought hiding in an attic, I would go out there. So just to give you a quick little breakdown of kind of how it worked, I was what they called a scout, which meant I was the first person through the door every time we went through a door of any kind. That was my job. First one through, first one to engage. And I loved it. Best job in the place. But that also included going up in the attics. So I would kind of strip down a little bit, get a little skinnier if I could, take off some stuff, climb through the attic. So one day we were on this barricaded call for probably 10, 12 hours, and we were tired. Been a long time. We had tear gas through the whole place, searching it with gas masks, and it's really hard to see. One thing people don't realize is you can't breathe, you can't see. It's just, it's smoky. So I climb up in this attic, and keep in mind, this is my cool 30-year-old self, right? Okay, I like the posters, right? So I climb up in this attic, and there's blown-in insulation all through the floor joists. And I'm walking quietly, stealthily, and I turned back to my partner and I said, I don't think he's here. And the second that I do that, some guy pops up out of the insulation, goes, I'm right here. Well, what he did was he scared the hell out of me. I stepped in between the joists, which is just drywall, and then fell right on top of him. And we both ended up falling through the ceiling down into the kitchen, basically. We hit an island onto the floor,
Wow.
just the whole 9 yards, right? We destroyed these people's house, destroyed it. And then he ends up getting handcuffed, and, I get up and I walk out, and then I'm embarrassed, and it's just goofy. It was so uncool. But it gets worse. Things just sometimes they get worse. So that we go home that night, and I told you we drink beer, we go home. So we do, we work out, we come back. I'm walking into briefing, and up on the board is a list of calls that are going on live. We see what's happening. And it says the bomb squad's out at the same address we were at the night before. And I thought, I'm not a smart man. But I thought, that's odd.
That's weird.
That's weird. And so I just keep going about my business. An hour later, I get called up to the watch commander's office, and sitting on his desk is 2 of my flashbangs. They're incendiary devices that we throw in. They kind of go boom, and then we kind of do our thing. And he says, do you recognize these? And I go, yeah, those are flashbangs, And he says, you know where you found them? I said, no. He says, yeah, at the house last night where you fell through the roof. And apparently they fell out of my desk. No. And I didn't inventory my stuff, right? So the bomb squad had to go out there, and it was just a big old mess. And I was punished.
Oh, no.
We'll just leave it at that. I was punished, yeah. But that's kind of fun stuff. And, a lot of neat stuff happened throughout the years. We obviously took a lot of people to jail. We did a lot of very serious things at the same time. But I'm very, very proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that was on the SWAT. Have you?
No,
SWAT,
have you? I don't think I have either. It's a really cool story. I mean, I want to thank you for being here, man. I mean, this is a really cool series that we're doing. It's called The Power of Us. And, it's really for us a play on words, us as in the United States, but us as in you, the professionals that really drive our industry and really propel us all forward. So we pulled in people from all over the country to tell their story, and it's been really cool to hearing yours so far. Looking forward to hearing the rest of it. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys asking. I wouldn't probably do it for a lot of people, but Hayward's an incredible partner, and as soon as I got that call,
I thought, yeah, absolutely. Wherever you want me, I'll be. Anything you need.
In your RV.
In my RV.
Yeah, appreciate you.
I said, I will be there down by the river.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us how you ended up in the pool industry after obviously all those years.
Yeah. So another fun story. So my wife and I, we've been married almost 36 years now. It'll be 36 years in
Congrats.
about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Our first home, this was in the early 90s, pre-cell phone. Right. We're going to date ourselves a little bit here. I know I look younger, but we'll date ourselves a little bit. So we decided we're going to build a pool. And that was a big deal for us. We were young back then. And we, hire a contractor, build us a pool. And it was horrible. The experience was just bad. Without getting into the weeds, he'd go 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time without calling us back. We didn't know if they were going to come back. We didn't know if they were going to just steal our money. We didn't know what was going to happen. Couldn't find anybody, couldn't text anybody back then. It was just the communication was different. And eventually it got done. Eventually fighting and phone calls and yelling and screaming, it got done. And the pool got done. And we lived there for a few years. And then we sold that house and moved to another one and decided we want a pool again. Why? I don't know, but we did. But this time I said, we're going to vet people. Mm-hmm. We're going to meet people. And I probably got 8 bids. I checked the Better Business Bureau, everything that we could do at the time to try and help give us an idea. Google wasn't as prevalent back then. Yelp wasn't as prevalent back then, those kind of things. But we did our part. And then picked one. And I thought, okay, we're going to be good. And I told my wife, trust me, you can trust me. We're going to be good. She's like, okay, yeah, thumbs up. And it was worse than the first time. Brutal. Just horrible, right? Just horrible. And I was home during the day. I worked at night mostly. We talked about that. Obviously, SWAT works night work. So I was around and I'd watch him. One guy coming by every few weeks, doing very little, not answering the phone, not showing up when they said they were going to show up, not having any clue when they would show up, or randomly people just showing up without us expecting people, things like that. But again, eventually it got done and the pool was built. And the guy he was a nice guy. His name was Jay, and we'll just leave it at that. But he was a really nice guy. He was just struggling. He was trying to do his best, I guess, and just wasn't good at it and just was struggling. But after twice in a row, I started thinking. I worked 3 days a week back then, compressed work schedules. I just started thinking, I could do this. I worked construction a little bit before I went into law enforcement, although brief, I'd done some. And I thought, I can do this. At that point in my life, I'd already been to college. I remember I was a borderline delinquent in the early days, but by the time I was 30, things were a lot different. I had a master's degree by that point. I thought, I can do this. I started doing some research. I got my stuff together. I contacted Jay and I said, hey, do you need anybody to help you work? I'll work for free. And he said, you work for free? I said, yeah, I'll work for free. Just let me work with you. I needed to because I wanted to get that contractor's license and I needed some experience.
Right.
He's like, yeah, sure. I said, let me work for you. I won't sue you. He goes, yeah, sure. You can start tomorrow. I said, okay. And so I did that for, 7, 8 months or so, long enough to make it good. And then I applied for my contractor's license. And one of my favorite stories is, and remember, I have 3 little kids at that point, right? What is this? It's about 2001, maybe 2002, right in there. So I signed up to go to this contractor's licensing school. And it was $1,800. I put it on a credit card. And I drive home super excited. This is a big step for me. I get home, I tell my wife, who I love 36 years in a couple of weeks. Keep that in mind, right? And I tell her, I said, I signed up for this contractor's licensing school. I'm going to open my own business. I'm going to start building pools. She's like, is it that easy? I go, well, I got to get my license. I just paid $1,800 to do it. And she looked at me and she says, oh, you just threw that money away. I said, what do you mean? I threw that money away. She goes, you're not going to follow through with this. That's ridiculous. I was a policeman, right? And so she's like, okay. She walks away. And I thought, all right, we'll see how this goes. I went to the school, passed my test, became a licensed contractor, and kind of went from there.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. So what I did originally was, interestingly enough, I had an idea. I thought what it took to do. The process, the people, who I needed, those kind of things. What I didn't know was how much to charge, because I hadn't been involved in that. It wasn't part of what I had been training to do. So I just started talking to people at the police department, people that I knew, and 2 or 3 people said, yeah, build me a pool. I said, okay, great. Mm-hmm. I said, just pay what it costs. You don't have to pay me nothing. The first 5 or 6 were pro bono, full free. And I said, you just pay the invoices when they come, right? And then after that, I figured out what it cost. And then I felt I was ready to go out on my own. And I just started kind of doing that. And I think pool 0001 was sometime in 2005. And then now we're, 1,800, almost 2,000 pools in. And yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Now, when you started the business, you were still working in the police department. And then how long before you kind of retired and you went all in?
Yeah. So you have to understand, initially, my thought process was I was a career policeman. That was what I did. That was what I did. I wasn't trying to get away from that. That wasn't my intention. So it was a side thing, right? I'm going to make some extra money. It was a side hustle before there were side hustles, right? And it did that. You know, I made extra money. I was building maybe 10, 15 pools a year. And I did that all the way for quite a while. And then in 2008, everything changed. The world changed. I like to tell people the world changed. And it was like a spigot. And I think I mentioned this to you before. It just stopped. The calls stopped. Nobody was spending any money. The consumer had all the leverage. There was very few of them. And then the people who had legitimate businesses that had to make payroll and cover costs, you know, they were battling to survive. They really were. And I wasn't. I had a paycheck. It wasn't that. So we kind of shut it down up until about 2013. And then people started calling again. Just weird. Like phone would ring. Hey, you built a pool for a friend, a neighbor, a cousin. So we're like, okay, sure. Yeah, no problem. We'll do that. And then in about 2015, I could feel something special, right? Like, why are people calling me? You know, we don't advertise. We don't do anything. And we were building 30 pools a year without trying to do it. So little background, right? In California to retire, even though I had enough years to retire, I wasn't old enough. I was 45 years old at the time, but you got to be 50 to collect your pension. Mm-hmm. If you're not 50, no paycheck, right? No matter how many years you got. Doesn't matter. But I started really young. I go home. Now, rewind a little bit. Spent $1,800 in 2000 to get a contractor's license, and my wife basically said it was a waste of our money. And, you know, we could have bought shoes for the kids. It made me feel really good about that, right? So now we fast forward to 2015. I go home. And I said, I think I'm going to retire and I'm going to go all in and we're going to make this a real business. We're going to make this a real thing. And to her credit, she goes, yeah, sure. Yeah, just like that. No hesitation, no.
And you went in thinking that wasn't going to be the case.
No. I thought she was going to be, you know, and she's like, yeah, sure. No problem. If you believe in it, do it. And I thought, all right. So I, you know, slept on it. Next morning, I quit. Just like that. Turned in my papers. I basically retired, resigned, however you want to look at it. I gave him 30 days notice after, you know, almost 30 years, and then I left. Yeah. And then went all in. Just started doing it, making it real, hiring people, renting, you know, locations, buying trucks, you name it, the whole thing. Yeah.
So do you focus on just building? Do you do any service? Do you do any retail? Do you do any of that?
No, just building. That's all we do. So just building. We may make some changes soon about adding a service component. But as of right now, we just build new pools. We do some remodels as well, if they're expansive enough, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want to do just a replaster or something like that. But if they're expansive, we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. And so you kind of go through COVID, right? COVID is crazy, super busy. That faucet kind of shuts down. But for you, that didn't happen, right? You just kind of were able to really, you know, which is unheard of.
So COVID is weird, right? I don't know if anybody made it through COVID unscathed. I don't really know if I can say that. Hard to say. But, you know, the world, I think, thinks that we all made a killing during COVID because it was easy to sell pools. No doubt about it. And, you know, we talk about Hayward. And as far as, you know, people were hoarding toilet paper and trying to hang on to everything else and you know,
pool bumps.
Yeah. And so, you know, everybody had their battles, but we had the equipment. We had everything that we needed. Our partners took care of us. No issue there. But we wrote it out okay. I really think we did because I pulled back. At the time, I thought it was maybe a bad idea, but something just told me it's too much too fast. It just didn't make sense, right? So you work hard in this business to sell pools. You got to really cater to people. You got to really come up with great designs. You have to be competitively priced. You have to be responsive. You have to be a good communicator, right? Those are the staples that we built our business on, and it worked. Then all of a sudden during COVID, people would call us and say, I'll pay anything you want. Just tell me you can do it. Add me to your schedule. I'll send you a deposit. And we're like, this is odd. It's just weird. And so I'm glad we did because what was happening, even doing that, we were still really kind of busy. We're still really busy. And I think the industry lost more money than it made during COVID. I can't speak to everybody, but I've spoken to a lot of people. And, you know, you'd sell a pool today, sign a contract. 6 months later, you might start that project. And our costs went up 13% in that 6 months because they were going up almost every week. And people suffered and they lost a lot of money. And I think we were able to kind of avoid that. And which kind of led us right back into the next quick jump, when things normalized, right? Which I think is where we're at now, is a little bit more of a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people, a lot of builders that I talk to say the same thing. And I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And I go to friends, builders of mine, and I'm like, man, you're a millionaire now. Like, now is when you, and I had people that I look at now that have huge companies, and they go, we almost went out of business during COVID. Like, that's how bad it was. We were selling, but they said the opposite of what you were saying. And they come to me and they'll say, we got greedy and we tried to sign every contract as fast as we could, because that's what we wanted to do. And then we didn't have a clause that if the equipment went up, we could adjust their bills. Yeah. And they're like, we could have. He goes, but then our reputation would have been in the tank, and then we would have been done, and we wouldn't have been able to kind of do that, you know. And it's interesting. We're kind of getting from a lot of people the same thing, right? Like, it's slowed down a little bit, and now there's a little bit more of, you know, that normalcy, you know, back into the industry.
Yeah, I think for me and for us, 22 and 23 were slow. Slow, not bad, but slow, because look, at least in California, and I can't speak to everywhere, but at least in California, the cost to build a pool and spa went up 35% post-COVID, and it never goes back. Doesn't matter. I don't care. We can complain about it.
We can debate it all we want, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, we can go to Congress. It's not going to change.
It's like
right?
time.
Yeah, it's not going to go backwards. And so, and there was a hangover there. Right, there really was, with people, because they just didn't want to pay it. It didn't make sense, and I get that. Like, I just get that. But I think in 24, we started seeing sort of that come out. Last year, I thought, was a fairly normal year, and this year's been great. And so what I find now is people don't love it, but they understand what the new normal is. They had to just kind of get it. You had to get it. And now that they get it, we're back to normal, and just sort of is what it is.
I think a lot of people just thought, okay, this will eventually go back down again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you look at it and it's like, it's not going to go back. So.
Oh, and I could tell you COVID stories. Listen, that's a whole nother episode, but we could talk about COVID stories all day long. It was like sailing the 7 seas with Blackbeard the pirate. It was just a nightmare all the way through. Yeah. We would have competitors walking into backyards trying to take our employees away, offering them more money. And of course they wouldn't go. And then as soon as they'd leave, they'd call me and say, but he did offer us more money. And I'm like, great. Yeah, great. You know, it was just, it was something.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's do this. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue our conversation.
Hey Pool Pros, you're already at the pool. You're already trusted by the homeowner. So why are you leaving pool deck renovation money on the table? Cool for Pools is a roll-on pool deck coating that reduces surface temps by up to 38%, passes ADA slip resistance standards, and installs in under 3 days. No specialized labor, no tear out. Just clean it, coat it, and seal it. A 1,600 square foot job requires $2,500 in materials and bills at $12,800. That's over $10,000 in pre-labor profit. Add it to your next estimate. Ask your local Heritage or SCP locations about Cool today. Visit encorecoatings.com or call 888-776-2242. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Meet the pipeline pump from Aquastar Pool Products, the next generation of variable speed pumps designed for serious efficiency. At its core is a high-performance permanent magnet motor that's totally enclosed and fan-cooled, delivering consistent energy-saving operation. Paired with Aquastar's patented high-efficiency volute design, the pipeline pump maintains optimal flow while cutting down on energy use. And it's not just efficient, it's incredibly quiet, thanks to a high-tech rubber motor mount that absorbs vibrations and dampens sound. The pipeline runs smooth and quiet by limiting turbulence. Its 2.5-inch internal frame ensures unrestricted water flow, and it's available in both 1.5 HP and 3.0 HP models, each with 2-inch and 2.5-inch union fittings for flexible and efficient installation. Experience the pipeline difference: incredibly quiet operation, peak efficiency, and proven performance. Ask your supplier for the pipeline pump from Aquastar. Available now. Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We continue our conversation with Obie with Majestic Pools out of Southern California. We're talking, you're now at this stage, completely all in, and you have multiple locations?
So we do now. I figured out a while back the way to grow was to add locations, right? Because once we really inundated an area, and I think we've done that, then we started expanding. So we have our second location now, and hopefully opening a third soon.
Nice. So
are they fully staffed? Like, do you staff each one with a full team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we handle all the clerical from basically our main office. Okay. Right? We'll handle the clerical and
kind of centralize all that.
100%. And then there's all the field staff and our design team, sales team, stuff like that's all out in the field. And yeah.
Now in Southern California, what areas and where are the offices?
So our original office is in Southwest Riverside County, which is in the city of Temecula, Murrieta area. So about an hour north of San Diego, about an hour and a half south of Los Angeles. Out in the suburbs, but that's where everybody lives in Southern California.
Yeah.
So it worked out great. And Southwest Riverside County is a fantastic area, just fantastic.
It is, yeah,
ton of households. We've done great there. We're super grateful for everyone out there. And then our newest location is in the Inland Empire, which is in San Bernardino County. So if you're familiar with Ontario International Airport, International Airport, so it's just right by the airport, right up there. And so that's about an hour north, give or take. Just try to kind of take care of that demographic in that area a little bit better.
And that third one that you're thinking of opening, where are you thinking?
Well, so the leader right now is Phoenix.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So out of state.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
Yeah. So what made you look at Phoenix?
Well, we can get a lot of Southern California from our two locations. So that's kind of what we've decided now. We can handle Orange County if we want to. We're not going to go into LA County. We just don't want to.
Yeah.
And we already cover San Diego County. So from our Temecula location, which is basically just north of San Diego County. And so that's kind of what we're thinking. It was either going to be Phoenix or it was going to be the Fort Worth area. Those are the two leaders in the clubhouse.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Fort Worth. Well, come on.
I travel a lot, right? Did I mention that?
Yeah.
And we have a great team and they're doing a fantastic job. It's just a matter of how much I want to push that, at this point in my life and all that. But eventually the team will handle more of that. And so I thought Phoenix is easier for us to do because it is only 6 hours away. And when you're starting anything off, right? We started this business from scratch. And like I told you, I was a policeman, right? I was familiar with machine guns, not business practices. I just wasn't. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to build pools, but it took me a while to figure out how to build a company. And that was probably the hardest thing I've had to do throughout this entire process. We're not a franchise. We didn't have any of these types of things. So when it went from just me to adding people to growing multiple people to creating levels of people, we needed systems, all that stuff. We had to create all of that, which now we have. So now it's just duplication, right? Or multiplication of those processes and those systems. But it took a while to get to there.
At what stage in your journey did you kind of figure that out? Did you kind of have that aha moment of, I need to build a business? And
so I told you to be a policeman, all you had to be was 19 and a half, right? U.S. citizen and have a high school degree, right? I had those three things and that's about all I had at the time. So I'm not really a smart man, what they would call a smart man, but it took a while. It took me a while to figure that out. I thought it was easy. I thought you could just come in and, you make all kinds of money and people just do what you want them to do. But no, I started a company that was all in my head. And then trying to figure out how to get that out to multiply to people with consistency was complicated. And it took years. I probably started about 5 years ago, really getting serious about it. And it took me 2 or 3 years to really get everything in place. And now we're just, building off of that as we go,
And so what does your team look like?
Yeah.
Obviously being able to travel for a couple months at a time, that means you have to have a solid team in place.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Oh, there's no doubt about that. And so we're basically a subcontractor-led business, meaning that all the physical work is done by subs, but they're fantastic. Most of which work only for us, right? They don't have time to do anything else. But in California, and I won't get into that again, a whole nother episode, but it just makes sense, right, for us to do it that way. All of our staff is directly related to the clerical or management or of our processes of our company. We have 2 executives, one that is in charge of all field operations, everything related to field. So I structured it like a police department. And some people find that funny when I talk to them, they kind of catch that. But basically they're like captains and each of them, so one runs all of the field operations, everything related to building in the field, customer service, subcontractors, everything. And then the other one is in charge of all of our clerical, business, sales, et cetera. Everything, kind of on that end of it. And then they do fantastic, phenomenal. And my wife, well, here's a snippet. I wasn't going to throw them under the bus, but I will. What the hell? I'm here. So they're both son-in-laws. Okay. All right. And they're fantastic. Unbelievable. Just great people. And they've been with me for a long time. And they're the future. They really are the future. I'm traveling. I'm doing stuff. I'm on a podcast with you famous people, and it's so nice. But the kids, I call them kids, but they're in their mid-30s. They do a fantastic job. And they've added a nuance of modernness that probably I wasn't going to be able to bring, right? I really wasn't, So I'm really proud of them. And then it kind of trickles down from there, right? Obviously, we have design staff. We have salespeople. We have social media teams, we have marketing, all the kind of things. And then we have all of our field staff, customer service people, project managers, and then we oversee everything that happens day to day from there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you've built quite an organization over time. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and it was fun, but it was tricky. Like it really, really was tricky. And how many people do you need? How many people can one person supervise? How many people can how many supervisors can one manager manage? Right? It's just all these things that we just kind of had to keep figuring out, right, as we went. As I looked at them and they looked pale and I thought, oh, something's not right. What's going on? Okay, that too much? Okay, let's get another person
it's a little much,
right?
Maybe.
And you just kind of evolve, right? And we just kept evolving and kind of where we're at now.
And I don't know if you caught on, Ryan, but he's talking about obviously we talked to Kyle earlier today, and so he was a firefighter, and I think a lot of his success was. The fire department is always preparing for the worst, and they're always preparing for what's next. And I think a lot of his success has been same mentality, like how to prepare for the worst, right? And then if there's a problem, how am I solving it ahead of time? And for you, you're talking about your experience, and it's a great analogy, right? It's from the police department standpoint. And it's the truth. That's like how every company needs to be set up, right? You need to have that person that's here in charge of this, everything down, right? In this direction. And I think the companies that really succeed are the ones that really kind of figure out.
Yeah, it's almost like a chess player thinking about their next 4 or 5 moves.
And
And I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, and we've been traveling for a while now, my wife and I, we enjoy it. It's our second home sort of life thing that we do. And she's been great. I've been working for 40 years and, she's allowed me to do that. And so now we try to travel and see the world and do kind of different things. But even up to a couple of years ago, she kept telling me, you need to leave them alone. Like, you need to go away. I'm like, what do you mean I need to go away? Because what we want to do is help. I always felt like if I wasn't around, you're abandoning them or you're just kicking them out on their own to kind of do whatever they need to do. And you felt like you're abandoning them to some extent. And she was like, no, you have to just as long as you're in the shadow, they're going to struggle to make decisions, to do what they want to do, to kind of become who they want to be. And it wasn't about trust. It was about me wanting to help.
Yeah. A lot of managers and business owners struggle with that. Yeah. So it seems like you've got that part of it figured out.
Yeah. Sure. She helped me with that. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, you're right. So now I just would leave her 2 months at a time. And then they'd be like, when you come back? I'm like, maybe never. I don't know. We'll see.
when something's burning down, don't come back. Yeah.
So do they call? Do they, be like, hey, I haven't heard from him in like a week. And they call you and they're like, hey.
Yeah, they'll still call. You know what? Once a week, maybe. They'll kind of pool things, kind of hang on to some things and then call me with just a couple things. And then we'll spend an hour on the phone and then they'll, kind of go from there.
But they're like, okay, we're done for the next week.
Yeah, pretty much. Because they don't want to call. They really don't. And I don't want them to call. I want them to just feel good about what they're doing. The good, the bad. They'll learn from the bad and just move on. And that's kind of how we built it.
Yeah. So how many pools are you building now per year? Ballpark?
Well, about 200.
About 200?
Yeah, about 200. So understand that probably 30, 40 of those are going to be remodels, but extensive remodels, right? So, but yeah.
And so where you are, so you're building brand new pools. So a lot of those extensive remodels that you're doing, especially for California, right? A lot of the infrastructure is, older. I mean, I lived in Orange County. My house was built 65 or something like that. It was, 50 years old, A lot of the pools that I serviced in all of Orange County were just all bean shaped. Almost all of them had intermatic timers until I figured out, hey, you need to be up in Villa Park where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And then move my business up into the hills where the money is. On a lot of those remodels, are they bigger projects or bigger pools that were out there and you're just kind of redoing those? Or is it more of just somebody moving in younger and just kind of going, hey, we want to build something new?
Yeah, no, they're definitely second and third generation owners, right? So our area, again, we're in the suburbs, but so it's not an overly old area, right? So those pools that were built in the 80s and early 90s are just now coming to remodel age.
Okay.
That's what we're getting. They're not 50 years old. They're maybe 25 years old. But what we find is people are coming in, they're buying these homes, they're moving in, they're seeing this, early 90s, late 80s pool, and it doesn't fit today's Instagram vibe. Right. So they want, and that's just
it's the truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
So they want that modernization, right? They want to tear out decking. They want new coping. They want to add spas when there weren't spas before, slides, grottos, waterfalls, you name it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming in all those pools, obviously a lot of the newer automations and, latest gadgets. You want everything on your phone. You want,
Yeah. Everybody wants everything on their phone. They want to control everything from their phone. And that's where the Hayward products really come in because it's phenomenal, right? That what you can do with the technology now and what Hayward provides us to sell and install is just, it's, and better than I do, but it's just phenomenal. And people love it. We love it. It's easy. And they get all of this, everything that they want Alexa to control, everything they want to do from their phone.
They want to talk to their pool.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So we're able to do that for them. Yeah.
So you guys better start working on Claude and ChatGPT so they can talk to them and connect them through them.
Next. We think about that all the time with predictive analytics and AI control. That's definitely something we think about every day.
That's the part I think I'm most excited about. I've talked about it for years in our industry. The technology side has always been kind of behind the
in
time.
This industry, a little especially.
And I think we're getting to that point where it's like you're at that point where you're leaping forward and really kind of being able to integrate and the predictive, and a lot of the systems out there.
For sure. A lot of that comes from our customers. Yeah, a lot of that comes from our customers, guys like Obie telling us, hey, you need this. We need this. Make it happen. So we do.
You talked about the intermatic, time clock, and every single ad that we do includes Wi-Fi automation today that we do. Every single one. It's a baseline item now. It's not an option anymore. It's a baseline item because everyone's going to ask for it.
Yeah.
the first thing they're asked is, can I control it with my phone? While they're scrolling Instagram and TikTok, and talking to us at the same time. Say, yep, you sure
and
can.
turning their pool pump on.
100%. 100%. So that's where we start now. It just is.
Yeah. That's awesome. What does your typical build look like? So we talked about the renovation, but what's kind of what your typical build?
So we're a custom builder, right? So we're going to build anything you want us to build. There's been quite an evolution especially over the last 5 years. So now we're building more, what I would call more middle range pools, right? Not a lot of budget pools, although we do, whatever anybody wants, we will take care of. But I think last year our average pool cost was about $140,000. So that was the average price per pool. If you averaged out all the ones we did.
Top and yeah.
Pool and spa for sure. Hardly ever will we build just a pool only anymore. Hardly ever. Everybody wants a spa, jacuzzi, hot tub, elevated spas, raised bombing walls, water features, shear descent water features, maybe some bubblers, 1,000 square feet of concrete decking. That's pretty much home base. And what we're going to do over and over. And then the specialty ones where we get into the 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. They're narrowing as you get closer to that 400,000, right? But quite a few 200, a few 300, couple in the 400,000 per year. Yeah.
So do you like those $400,000 or $500,000 pools, or you prefer to just kind of get through? Well,
the simpler, the quicker, the easier we're in or out, the better for us, right? But we do like them because they grow our brand. People love them. When you're putting out these beautiful projects.
Social media.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So about a year and a half ago, hired a full-time social media person. First time ever. I'd never even considered it.
Which is great.
Never even considered it till then. And then one of the best things that we ever did. She's phenomenal with what she does and just grown awareness of our company so much.
How big of an impact do you think that made? If you had to put a number on maybe the number of pools that you sold incrementally, or maybe the number of leads that you received as a result?
Increase. We doubled the amount of pools we build per year.
Because of, you think it's just because of that? Wow.
Yeah, and that's hard to tell. It's a little hard to tell because, you have marketing dollars, right? Yeah. And so when we start new things, we want to put marketing dollars towards them. So it's a little hard to tell at first. If we hadn't spent X amount of dollars, but I believe so.
That's amazing.
I think so. I think we've pretty much doubled.
I think that was worth the investment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that was my wife's idea too, if anybody's keeping track. But
I'm sure she is.
Yeah, I know. She always does. Yeah, she always does. But it was a good one, and really glad we did it. And it just flew by Google. By Google.
Wow.
As far as we're concerned. I know Google SWAT team's going to come down and get them.
But they're always listening.
Yeah, I know. I know, but it did. And what I love about it, what I think a lot of people love about it, it's our message.
Right.
Unfiltered to some extent, but it's our message, what we want to portray, what we want to tell you about us. And people have just been attracted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My head already starts spinning. I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
Tell me.
That's, by the way, when I say I have an idea, a lot of people freak out. But I'm thinking, how good would it be of a podcast episode to have her and have him back to just talk about that? Because I think a lot of, when it comes to the marketing and the social media, you can go in so many different directions. And we were talking to Tara about it, right? And it happened to our page where you can start worrying about, likes and views and stuff like that. You kind of get lost into what you were originally wanting to do. And there's not a lot of pool builder companies that do it and do it well.
Yeah.
And I think some of the ones that do, you talk about maybe social media page that goes crazy is Lucas Lagoons, but is Lucas Lagoon really your average pool builder that's building 200 pools a year? No, that's very Instagram like, but how can a pool builder actually take that social media and
I think that'd be a great episode, and somebody that anybody listening would get something out of.
So you coming back to co-host?
I'm in. So if you'll have me.
There you go. Of course, we're over here making plans, and we haven't even asked. So we might be like, no.
Oh, I'll tell you, she would love it, and I would love it. You want us to come down? You let me know. We'll be here anytime. 3-hour flight. We're here. No problem. She would love it. But she's been fantastic. The concept's been fantastic, and I think you hit it right on the head. We don't get 1 million likes on everything necessarily. We're not going viral with our posts necessarily, but I'll tell you what I can track. What I can track is our lead volume. And the difference in our lead volume is incredible compared to what we were doing before. And they're quality leads, right? Because our message pre-qualifies them. And I don't know how many people really click on that. We're telling them this is what we do. Roughly, this is what it costs. This is how long it'll take. And this is where we work. And that's who contacts us, right? So we're pre-qualifying them, I think, in many ways. And it's just
And that's
phenomenal.
gold right there. And for pools, people want what they can see.
Yeah.
People don't know what they want until they see it.
They want it
right?
demystified too. Demystify it.
And so that's why social media, it's like, they're like, I want that. Because it's like, they knew they wanted a pool, but they didn't know that they wanted that until they saw it. And so I think if you're doing that, you're proof. And I completely love here's what we charge, here's our price, say it out front. Yep. Don't waste your time talking to somebody that's just going to be like, hey, and then they're like, oh, well, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
It wastes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources.
Yeah. And no leader ads, right? We don't want to give people this $50,000 ad that's just not a reality to anybody.
Right.
And then you're wasting their time too. Their time is valuable too.
Yeah.
And so it's worked out great for us. And I encourage anybody who's thinking about it. It's hard to hire people, right? Hard to employ people, especially in California. We talked about that, right? But it's worth it. Yeah, definitely worth it.
Absolutely. Hey guys, let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, we have one more question for you. We'll be right back.
Hey, pool pros, you're already at the pool. You're already trusted by the homeowner. So why are you leaving pool deck renovation money on the table? Cool for Pools is a roll-on pool deck coating that reduces surface temps by up to 38%, passes ADA slip resistance standards, and installs in under 3 days. No specialized labor, no tear out. Just clean it, coat it, and seal it. A 1,600 square foot job requires $2,500 in materials and bills at $12,800. That's over $10,000 in pre-labor profit. Add it to your next estimate. Ask your local Heritage or SCP locations about Cool today. Visit encorecoatings.com or call 888-776-2242. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Meet the pipeline pump from Aquastar Pool Products, the next generation of variable speed pumps designed for serious efficiency. At its core is a high-performance permanent magnet motor that's totally enclosed and fan-cooled, delivering consistent energy-saving operation. Paired with Aquastar's patented high-efficiency volute design, the pipeline pump maintains optimal flow while cutting down on energy use. And it's not just efficient, it's incredibly quiet. Thanks to a high-tech rubber motor mount that absorbs vibrations and dampens sound, the pipeline runs smooth and quiet by limiting turbulence. Its 2.5-inch internal frame ensures unrestricted water flow, and it's available in both 1.5 HP and 3.0 HP models, each with 2-inch and 2.5-inch union fittings for flexible and efficient installation. Experience the pipeline difference, incredibly quiet operation, peak efficiency, and proven performance. Ask your supplier for the pipeline pump from Aquastar. Available now. Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We continue our conversation with Obie from Majestic Pools. And Ryan, I know that you wanted to ask one more question.
Yeah, Obie, again, thank you for being out here, and thank you for making the trip. You're an MBA, a cop, a former SWAT team captain, a contractor, a pool builder. Yeah. You've done a lot of things. I appreciate you sharing your story. It was really cool. If you had to give somebody an advice after the heck of a run you've already had, and I know you still have a lot more to build, that's just entering this industry, that wants to start their own business, you've probably learned a lot. You've probably failed a lot, but obviously had a lot of success. What would you tell them to focus on? What piece of advice would you give them? Where should they look first?
Yeah. Believe in yourself, right? You got to believe in yourself. Everything that you do is difficult. It's an uphill climb, but the rewards are there if you believe in yourself. And I go back to that first early day where, I'm spending money I didn't have to go try to get a contractor's license, and all just based on belief and hope and trust in myself. And that's what I would encourage people to do. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. I was happy in my life. I was happy in my career. I wasn't looking for a career change, but one simple little step added a whole nother chapter to my life that created a level of specialness. And I don't know if that's a word, but specialty. It is today. But specialty to my life that enhanced it in ways I can't even describe today. Wow. And not just me, generations worth of my family, my kids, my grandkids, putting kids through college, doing all these kind of special things. I can't even go down the list of special things, all because of one choice, right? Mm-hmm. One decision that wasn't easy, but it was fruitful and it was fulfilling. And that's what I would encourage people to do. Secondly, if I could piggyback on that just a little bit, is that there are a lot of resources out there to help you in the world. You don't have to know everything at the beginning. You really don't. If you have a concept, an idea, and you're willing to work for it, there are ways to get the information that you need, whether it's education or practical application, and then you can fight and work and do and get to where you want to be. You just got to put in the effort. Yeah.
I love it. Believe in yourself, take a leap of faith, and use the resources out there. It's pretty good advice. Thanks again, Obie.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
Obie, we really appreciate you coming out. It's been great to meet you. We are going to do another podcast. Trust me. We're going to set that up.
We're going to make it happen.
I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. And here's what we'll do is, if for some reason Ryan starts to wiggy out, I'll talk to your social media person and we'll burn him, and then he'll have to show up anyway.
That'll work.
So
we can do it.
To repair my reputation.
We're just burn him all over social media, and he'll we could use it for our good too.
Absolutely. No, sounds good. I'd love to do it. Love to do it, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Hey, guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or PoolNationPodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at Pool.Nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to PoolInvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolManUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolManUniversity.com.